Issues of ethnicity, politics will not come into play?
It won't come into play if we do it well. What we're saying is that in the yesteryears, we had the likes of Harry Nwosu, who played from St. Finbarr's College. We had players who were in secondary schools and they still played for Nigeria. And then we'll have competitions like the Shell Cup. But you discover that there's no synergy between the Football Federation and organizers of these age group competitions. We had Youth Fund that was vibrant some years back. And it was from the Youth Fund team that we had players that we won the under 17 World Cup in China, if you remember, the Ndukoba days of this world. But today, where is even the Youth Fund structure? Do we still go for all those competitions, the Gotia Cup and all that? But now, we are no longer taking youth competitions very serious. And even when they take place, we don't get to look at talents that are discovered there and nurture them. We've just finished a secondary, the Nigerian School Sports Federation. I've just finished a competition in Calabar. Did the Football Federation take that competition serious? Because school sports is where you have the basics. We could discover players that have just done well in the school sports competition in Calabar and begin now to nurture them. It is only that way. Then when you played your by radio under 13 and all that, the Chief of Naval Staff competition by Youth Fund, these are where you will get the Shell Cup that just took place. I saw Government Secondary School where they play Ondo Grammar School in the finals last year. These are the places you will discover very young players that are still in secondary school and begin to nurture them. But we don't look at this. When we want to play major under 17 competition, we'll go to clubs to go and recruit players who are in their 20s to come and play under 17 competition for us. And then you expect these players to graduate in the next 2, 3, 4 years, but you don't see them anywhere. They disappear into oblivion. And then by the time you don't get the structures right, you begin. The result is what we are reaping now. We've been doing well in the last 1 decade or so in the age group competitions. Ordinarily by now, Nigeria should be aspiring to get to the quarterfinals and semi-finals of the World Cup against the backdrop of our performances at the youth competitions. But rather than achieve this, we are declining. We didn't even go beyond the first round in South Africa 2010. We did not qualify for the Nations Cup in Equatorial Guinea, Gabon next year. And chances are there that if we continue this way, we will not even qualify for the South Africa Nations Cup.
Now, these failures that we appear to be recording, aside from the fact that we do not have a system that graduates players from the age groups to the senior level, do you think the infightings within football, the football administrators, it has an effect on?
In fact, it is the biggest challenge that we have at the moment. There's so much infighting, there's so much politicking in our sports. People who are there don't want any other person to come in. There's so much politics. Like I told you, that there's a cabal in place, and it is that these are the problems that we have. Until we resolve to do the right things, get the right people in place, and put national interest higher and above selfish interest, we will not get it right. These are the problems. People believe that being in the football house is an avenue to make money. And then, rather than consider national interest, you consider selfish interest first. And that is what has brought our football to where it is. Until we begin to put the right structures in place, get the right people to work for this country, and then begin to tell ourselves the truth, we will not get it right. So politics has to do with it. And then cheating. Like I said, we've been using players who are above the age limit. See, when FIFA established this age group thing, it is not an end in itself, it is a means to an end.
Okay, so FIFA was like planning for the future.
Planning. So, but
our own football federation
we want to win at the under 17. When Alphonsus Dike took over the under 17 team, he brought young players who are within the age limit to see if we can actually get it right. But at the end of the day, because he failed, he was fired. But then when you are now appointed
what about those players he brought that were within the age limit? What happened to them?
That team was disbanded. So what that means is that a coach, when you appoint a coach under 17 manager, under 20 manager, he is put under pressure to deliver, and then he begins to go to players.
And delivering here is not building a team that will graduate.
Exactly. You want to win on the 17 level, you want to win on the 20 level, and when you win all these things, over time, it will have repercussion at the national team level, and that is exactly what has affected our football at this level. Look at the team we played yesterday. The Senegalese were just entering into our 18 like knife passing through butter. That defense was a disaster. And you saw it yourself. So the goalkeeping was poor. The first goal was because Ajiboye went off his line. The second goal was as a result of defensive blunder. And because of those defensive blunders, the Senegalese were capable of scoring 2 or 3 other goals.
Okay, I have this tweet from the bank. He says, GEJ wanted to put our football on a 2-year recess in order for us to reenact. We shouted him down. He's vindicated our football is dead. That's from the banky. Now, I don't hear people shouting now because when the president made that statement, it was as though the entire nation was going to go into a revolution or something. Exactly. But now nobody's shouting.
Yeah, you see, the reason why people shouted...
As my colleague will say, we're not even going for any inter-house sports.
Honestly, it's unfortunate. The reason why people shouted then to say, oh, Mr. President, temper justice with mercy, was because this is a game that Nigerians love so much. And you need to see the pain yesterday night. When we even lost yesterday, I know the number of calls that I received. Oh, the people weeping, literally weeping, that say we've gotten it wrong on all fronts. Well, like I said, it's unfortunate that it has gotten to this level. But now that we have played ourselves out of this competition, including inter-house sport, so to speak, if there was any at the international level, what that means is that we need now to look inwards and restructure our football.
But George, is it that all hope is lost? Hold on, they say we still have a mathematical chance of advancing to the semi-finals if we are able to beat Algeria 3-0, and Morocco does a big favor and do same against Senegal on Friday, then we're through. I mean, there's a hope somewhere.
Must we bank on every time when we play now, we'll now bank on mathematical calculation that if this happens,
but mathematics come
if not for sanctions, I must tell you, my brother, if not for the sanctions we will incur if we don't play Algeria, there's no business going into the field against Algeria. But in any case, we're in the competition already, so we must play out the group matches. But for anybody to begin to do this mathematics of Morocco would do us the favor of beating Senegal, and then we will beat Algeria by 4-0, because to qualify now we'll have a -3 goals disadvantage. So to be able to upstage Algeria, that will be going into that game with 3 points already from their victory against Senegal, we must beat them by at least 4-0. And the team that I saw yesterday, that team that played epileptic football, cannot beat Algeria by 4-0. And it will even be injustice on the part of this round leader game if we begin to bank on qualifying from the back door. If we qualify from the back door, we'll go to London 2012 to disgrace ourselves.